You creep.
I was having a private moment. Anyway.
I'm ready to go when you are.
Hey, it's your show.
Is it? Oh, damn.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm here, right? I'm not. This isn't a podcast takeover. Like,
You're here against my will.
give up the podcast. I have a gun.
You have a gun. Yeah, digital gun, like, goes through screens. Okay, now that should be pretty cool, actually, if you could do that. Not gonna lie.
Pretty cool, but also pretty weaponizing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Anyway, where were we?
I think it's something called you doing an intro or some kind.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Tiger Nexus Podcast, a place where you'll find interviews with content creators and geeks alike. Your host, Tiger, has delved upon the Nexus and found interesting content creators and geeks of all fandoms. This podcast is connected to the Zero to Hero Network. And now we dive in with another episode!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tiger Nexus podcast. I'm, of course, your host, Tiger. Today, we have a returning guest, my brother from another mother, but from the same father. I have, of course, my younger brother, Freddy. What's up, bro?
Sup, everybody?
How you been, first of all?
I've been alright. Just trying to get by life by playing video games, living the gamer life, and just doing a lot of living and a lot of dying in games.
What games you playing at the minute?
Mainly just kind of. I mean, there's been mainly 3 I've been playing: Space Marine 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and Cyberpunk 2077.
See, out of the 3 games you just mentioned, the only game I'd look at, if I had those 3 games in front of me, right, and I'd had to pick one for you, Cyberpunk would be the one that I knew you'd play. The other 2, I never thought I'd see you play, like.
Honestly, if you spoke to me about a year ago, I would be saying that as well. I would be like, there's no way I'd play these 2 games. But to be honest, I see other people. I mean, Space Marine is mainly because my other friends have told me that I should get it because it's a really good multiplayer game to play with your friends and stuff.
Wait, hang on, Holt. You have other friends other than me? I'm insulted.
Hey, you also have other friends other than me, but you don't see me complaining.
That's very true. Wait, I have friends? Damn.
You have multiple channels with these people.
What are they? Do?
Are they?
Someone gets my lawyer.
So, hold on. So, are you trying to tell me that you are enslaving these people to work with you?
There have been no whiplashes. There have been no handcuffs, and there's been no lack of food to these people yet.
Hey, honestly, out of all of the things you'd probably do to these people, the handcuffs is probably the most obvious, I think.
Yeah, that's very. I do like some handcuffs. That's very true.
Because I'm pretty sure we spoke at some other point that you said BDSM is something you wouldn't mind being into. But anyway, moving swiftly onwards from that one.
How is the weather 180 miles away from me?
About as good as British weather can get.
It's very misty lately around me. Like, literally, it's been so foggy.
It's misty, but also for us, it's been misty. But also, it's just kind of one thing. Actually, it's not really been that wet. It's not been raining as much. I've been quite surprised about that. It's been just cold.
Yeah, no, that's it has been. Like, we have to get Logan on his school bus by 8:20 in the morning, and fuck me, is it cold then, bro? Like, seriously.
No, but for some reason, it's for the weather here in terms of the atmosphere and stuff. It's like it's an on and off switch. Like one day it could be off and it's not that cold, and then the next day it can turn on and it's like, holy shit, I'm in a fucking igloo in here. Like, what the fuck? I'm freezing my tits off. Like,
well, here you go. Yeah, that I fucked that up big time.
Good job. Good job. Well done.
I had a joke set up, but I fucked it.
I know what you were gonna say. Yes, I know. I have tits. Boy,
No,
I wish I did.
no, I was gonna say, and there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Freddy is the drag name.
Oh.
I was going down the other route.
I thought you were just going to say, there you go, guys. If you were curious, Freddy has tits.
No, I know. I'm calling you a drag queen.
Hey, I wouldn't mind that.
Anyway.
Anyway, so what's the topic we're going to be talking about today, Ty? Besides BDSM and weird fucking tits.
Other than BDSM and boobs, I mean, now that we could talk about BDSM and boobs for a whole episode, surely.
I mean, if this was going to be an episode about that, this could not go on YouTube.
I mean, it could. I'd have to censor every time we say boobs, 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 and boobs.
Yeah, you might as well just censor the whole fucking podcast at that point. Like,
yeah, facts.
Right, back on topic.
We've actually hung out and seen each other since the last episode came out. And when we hung out and it was just me and you chilling, we decided to watch a YouTube video comparing Power Ranger morphs to Super Sentai morphs, if you remember.
Yes.
And we kind of spent about 3 hours just sat there like nattering about Power Rangers for so long.
Yeah, and describing how one morph is shit compared to the other, vice versa. Like, you know, because I feel like as we are big Power Ranger fans, we tend to be super critical about like comparing things and stuff like that. At least I feel like that way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. One of the reasons why I like, you know, having conversations with you is because you're from a younger generation. You know, I was born the year In Space came out. I was born the year the Zordon era ended, and so like Mighty Morphin is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I don't hold it in such high regard as some other people.
Oh no, me neither.
You know, Billy and Jim, William, Mark, my friends and stuff. They're older than me, so they all hold Mighty Morphin as like the goat.
Like I will always appreciate Mighty Morphin because it's what started this franchise. It's how this franchise began. Yeah, like I will always give it praise for that. But does that mean I can give it bias and say it's the greatest thing of all time? No, I cannot. It has problems, quite a few actually. Yeah.
So when we were watching the morphin sequence differences between like the Power Rangers and Sentai, is there any particular ones that kind of took you off guard or you were surprised at the difference of?
It's been a little while, so I'm trying to think back to it. I noticed that the ones that were like from like 2003 onwards, I realized the ones in like Made in America and stuff were a lot more like pop than the other ones, because obviously I know that like I feel like for some reason the Power Rangers morphs definitely have a lot of effort put into them. Compared to like, because it's like flashy, it's all like it does its theme well, is what I can say. Like for example,
I understand what you mean. Yeah,
like for example, with like let's go by the earliest one I can think of. Like for example, what we could example this. I guess Dino Thunder is a decent example. Like, I mean, Dino Thunders is pretty meh. Actually, let me think of a different one. That one's not really a good example.
Actually, no, you've actually kind of got a good one with Dino Thunder, to be honest, because the Super Sentai morph is really good, but Dino Thunder, I think, hits harder, because there's
especially the White Rangers,
Yeah. Like, I feel like there's this oomph to the Dino Thunder morph, you know, like they do this backflip, they hit the ground cracks, or, you know, and like...
Or if we go off White Ranger, he does a twirl.
Yeah, but like... Yes, okay, the Super Sentai morph is good, don't get me wrong. It's flashy. But yeah, no, I kind of... Okay, Jungle Fury. Take away the morpher change, because I don't agree with the morpher change. But I feel like Jungle Fury's morph is better. It's you know, they use the animal spirits more. They kind of like dive through this jungle, which is kind of cool. Other than the Rhino Ranger, he's the only one that doesn't do that.
He uses the ground.
yeah, he uses the ground, just the ground. Yeah, the ground is his playground. But with the Super Sentai ones, they just stand there and have their suits wrapped over them.
No, it's like, if I remember correctly, they their animal spirits run in and become the suits. Like, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and they also have their gauntlets because they have different morphers.
Mm-hmm.
Which I prefer the morphers in Sentai because
that's which understands this, because when I was younger and I watched Jungle Fever, I always wondered, why are their hands so big? Like, why do they have these yellow things on their hands when it does nothing?
Well, talk about Jungle Fury. That's actually one of your favorites, isn't it?
Yes, because it's the one I watched the most. I have a bit of a bias towards it. I grew up watching that one specifically, because that one used to be on TV all the time when I was growing up. So
yeah, no, that's fair. I think Time Force / Wild Force would be Monty. Because again, they're the ones, as I was growing up and getting into Power Rangers, they're the two seasons that would play the most, because it would be Wild Force was in its run, but they re-show Time Force. So they're the two seasons that I kind of like felt made me fall in love with Power Rangers.
I have, since we last spoke, I have seen a bit more Wild Force. And I gotta say, I can see why you like it so much.
Wild Force is one of the, like, a lot of people don't like it, and like a lot of people say it's like one of the worst seasons. I don't get why. I'm so biased, it's unreal. I don't care. But like, I sit here in such high regards of Wild Force. Like, a lot of people find Max and Danny annoying because Max is the Blue Ranger. He's like the youngest and immature. And they have this, they have this, like, this motto that they live by and all this jazz. And I'm sat there thinking, yeah, but you got to understand, this is aimed at kids, and it's a good motto. And not
only that, it's realistic as well. Like, you don't want to have your characters being like serious, like serious written characters that have no personality. Otherwise, it's not going to be interesting. Like, it won't be interesting. It's good to have storylines, you know.
Exactly, and the thing is, and you mentioned about serious characters. We have two, one and a half. We have Taylor, the Yellow Ranger, who is the serious one. She is a hardcore army brat.
Which bit of a bitch at the beginning, a bit of a bitch. But
yeah.
But then, she does get better over time. She gets better over time, understanding the team and all that. Like.
Yeah, and then you've got Cole, who isn't serious all the time, but his storyline is.
His storyline is one of the most like intense storylines in pretty much all of Power Rangers. Actually, like the whole finding out where his parents are, figuring out that like the main baddie is the one that actually killed them. Like when I saw that for the first time, I was like, "Whoa!" And this is a kids show.
Yeah. See, This is kind of why I shun Mighty Morphin a lot, because I find the Disney era, which is Ninja Storm to RPM, so Jungle Fury is included in that. That era of Power Rangers did such a good job on playing with boundaries. It was colorful. They had really good storylines and things. The era between Zordon to In Space to Wild Force, that kind of like era, was more mature in a lot of ways. It actually had like lips being bled and people people being bruised. You actually see
I've seen people I've seen online what they call those times from Mighty Morphin to Wild Force. They call that the Saban era.
Because Saban owned it.
He owned it until actually in the middle of creating Wild Force. Actually, So like in the middle of them writing Wild Force, Saban sold Power Rangers off to Disney, which would have meant there was a chance of Wild Force not even happening because of that. Like it was close to getting cancelled because of the fact that it got paid off.
Well,
but but luckily, thank God they did. They continued writing it.
Well, fun fact for you: Ninja Storm was never actually going to happen. Ninja Storm was originally going to be called Power Rangers Hexagon, and it was gonna be a very Civil War-esque sort of storyline where you had like two factions, and they were going to bring back like Tommy Oliver. They wanted Billy Cranston back. They wanted to bring back like Carter from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. They wanted kind of like a dividing factions and stuff. But obviously, they had to play
the
with what they.
adaptations and the
Yeah.
adaptations as well. So, and they knew Ninja Storm. They knew that the I forgot what the Sentai name for Ninja Storm is called. I forgot.
Oh god, I'd never remember the Sentai names.
I know Mighty Morphin. I think one is like Goat Guy Ranger or something like that. But Ninja Storm's one was the next in line to be adapted, so they just kept on with Saban's vision and just kind of did that. And honestly, I mean, this is like, usually I see Disney as one of those companies that likes to fuck things up when they get their hands on it. This is not one of those times. In fact, I think they actually did better when Saban was not in control, because, like, yes, it doesn't get it's not as mature as when Saban was in it, but damn, are the storylines better. Storylines get a lot better, I feel.
See, you say about Disney, and you said how Disney felt, but it was a different type of Disney.
Yeah, this
like,
was back in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Nowadays, Disney tends to fuck anything up they touch.
Nowadays, Disney owns Marvel, Star Wars. It owns like 2 different other streaming services. It works with, is it called Star or whatever it's called?
Something like that. I don't remember.
It's now collaborating with Sony, Fox, all sorts of stuff. Back then, Disney was just Disney, and when Disney was just Disney is when we had the best animated movies. Power Rangers was absolutely fucking brilliant. TV shows were really good and things. And so, like, Power Rangers, I felt like the time that Power Rangers were bought by Disney was the best, because if they bought it now, I don't think many people would bother.
It was definitely at its prime back then, if they bought it now, I know they'd mess things up. Like,
yeah, agreed.
Now, I will admit, when Saban bought back Power Rangers, when they made it was Samurai, wasn't it? Samurai was when Saban got it back.
Samurai and Super Samurai.
There has some of the seasons that were made there were hit or miss. Like, Samurai was decent. Megaforce, we don't talk about that because that was a travesty from beginning to end.
Sorry, you said it. You said the word.
I know, and I know it's a very which one was the one after? Which one was the one after Redacted?
Sorry, Scott, you did that. The one after Redacted, I think, was Ninja Steel, wasn't it?
Or was it Dino Charge?
Dino Charge. Right, it was Dino Charge. Yeah,
Dino Charge is pretty decent. Dino Charge is decent. Like, and then after that was Ninja Steel.
Okay, so Samurai could have been good.
It could have been better. Definitely could have been better.
So I know so many people get pissed off the whole Japanese thing. Take away that for 1 second. I understand that. I can totally agree. It's a Japanese, literally the Samurai Sentai that is based off is literally an homage to Japan itself. So I understand why people are pissed about that. Hey. Take that to one side. There are 2 issues I have with Samurai. The first one is the Red Ranger has this big secret he's got to keep from everyone. It's a huge secret that he's got to keep, and it literally, he hates himself for it, and he beats himself up for it. And it doesn't fucking matter, because the big secret is his sister's been hiding away from everyone, including the bad guys, to work on a secret power that can beat the bad guy. Why the fuck is everyone pissed off then? It literally makes sense why he keeps the secret, because if the bad guy find out, they're gonna figure out how to stop her. It makes sense that she's hidden away then, doesn't it?
And not only that, if everyone else knows, that means that's a bigger chance of that information being set out, because the bad guys can easily just go, hey, I'm gonna torture you until you give me what I want. And, eventually, let's be fucking real, these are just kids. They're gonna submit. Like,
exactly. And then my second issue is with the Mentor G. And the Antonio, the Gold Ranger, comes in. He's trained himself He made his own morpher, learned how to use simple power through the digital way, literally mastered learned how to survive, learned how to fish. He is literally one of the fastest, he is one of the fastest rangers of all time. And Mentor just walks up and takes his morpher and goes, I don't think you're ready. Fuck you. I'm like, well, hang on a minute. This guy survived by himself, wiped out a whole squad of foot soldiers by himself, whilst your rangers were on the fucking floor crying about it. And you want to take his morpher? Like, I'm sorry, fuck you. I do not like the Mentor in that fucking season at all.
See, the thing I don't understand is why people bitch about the aesthetic of Samurai. I personally think it looks kind of cool. I like me personally, I am a fan of Japanese culture. I like
Right.
the stuff about it.
The issue is, and I understand this. It's Americans using the powers from Japan. No one's Japanese. No one's from Japanese heritage. No one's, that's why people bitch about it. Is the fact that the Sentai is literally an homage to Japan itself. When they morph, they literally have Japanese flags. Literally, people run Japanese flags on them.
Japanese
shit like
kanji, all that shit, yeah.
Yeah, the Zords are based off origami, which came from Japan, etc., etc., and no one's Japanese. It's all people, like American kids, and that's why people have an issue with it. And I understand that that's fair. I don't agree with a lot of bullshit that people spew about it, but I understand why there's an issue.
Here's the way I see it, right? Well, first off, how the fuck else were they going to be able to adapt that Sentai without using the suits? That would just be fucking stupid. Secondly,
well, no, because you get Japanese actors, you get Asian actors. That's why people.
Yeah, I get that, but like, I don't understand why people have such a big deal about it. And two, I just see it as a way of like showing other kids in America that like Japanese stuff exists who don't know about it. Because how the fuck are they going to be able to? How are they going to know if people just start speaking Japanese all over the goddamn place? Like,
this is how I see it. There are worse things about Samurai than the fact that it's not Japanese orientated.
Oh yeah, that's like I feel like people are bitching about the wrong things. Like
even the bad guy isn't even a bad guy. He's a dude who sits on his ass 90% of the time until the very end. He's literally your big grouchy big man voice until I have to do something character.
Like, I will literally put everything out there until they all fail, and then I have to get up and do it myself.
Yeah.
I'm the laziest fucker, basically, is what he is.
So, obviously, we don't talk about Redacted. I refuse to. And then, Dino Charge is good. I'll give Dino Charge that. I do feel like they rushed a couple things. One, Tyler doesn't have a story once his dad's found. Once the Aqua Ranger's been introduced, that's his dad. His dad's in and out of the show. Tyler doesn't have a story. He's literally just the blandest of characters ever once that arc is gone, which is a shame because he is a cool dude. And the actor who plays him actually has a YouTube channel.
I know. I've seen a couple of his videos.
I watch a lot of his stuff. He's actually a really cool, positive character, and he's explained a lot of behind the scenes and stuff. And like one of his best friends is the Blue Ranger. I love Coda. I think Coda is one of the best characters ever created. I love him. I think he's great. A caveman being a ranger is just awesome. I think, and then the Gold Ranger is also a knight, so he's also from the past. I love him as well. But the Zords are cool. The weapons are. I think their weapons are a bit meh. I think that's where they fall flat with me, is the weapons look very like, well, toys, which I understand they're meant to sell toys, but they look like toys themselves in the show. But the suits are cool. I absolutely love the Gold Ranger suit. Oh my god, that's stunning. The Zords are awesome. I kind of like the dynamic with certain characters as well, like the Pink and Purple Ranger don't get along at first. And then eventually they become like complete girlfriends, like they're complete best friends and stuff. So like I like that dynamic. Ninja Steel is okay.
Mixed bag.
I do not like the two bullies in that. Oh my god, they.
You mean the skull and bulk fucking replacements?
Monty and something. Hang on, I'm gonna Google it real quick. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I understand. Victor, there you go, Victor and Monty. I understand they wanted to copy, and there have been duos in Power Rangers.
I mean, hell, they brought Bulk back in fucking Samurai, like.
Yeah, and the two in Beast Morphers, they're not bullies, they're just two dimwits, and they're lovable and funny as fuck. I love them too. But Victor and Monty, I do like the fact they're in a part of the finale. They actually play a part in the end, which I do like. That's very cool. But they're just over the top. They're just so like, I don't know. They're boring.
This is what I have a problem with in recent Power Rangers things. They make everything over the top. They make everything so dramatic. And not only that, like sometimes, and this has only happened in a couple things. Sometimes the voice acting from some of these people are like ear bleeding. Like, especially in Redacted.
Especially
from the Red Ranger and the motherfucking Blue Ranger.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
There have been many times where I just want to fucking punt him. Like, like seriously, he gets on my nerves. He does.
See, the Neo Saban era isn't bad. It just isn't great. That's the problem. It falls in this bracket of you can enjoy it, you can turn your mind off and just watch it, or you're gonna have an enjoyable time. Is down to your preference. It's fantastic.
See, this is something also I need to kind of need people to get through to them. Like, we say that the Neo Saban era is just meh, but then again, so is the original Saban era. Because if you think about it, if you could turn off your bias for like 2 minutes, let's be honest, Mighty Morphin, Zeo, and Turbo are not that good. They're not great. They're fine. Mighty Morphin's fine. Zeo's meh. Turbo is awful. Like,
right, okay. I have to interject here for just 1 second. First off, Mighty Morphin is. That's a grey area. But it does have good characters. That's why people like Mighty Morphin so good.
That I'm okay. I can agree on.
Because
like, some of the most iconic characters in this franchise were built from.
Because this is where Bulk and Skull works, and the other Bulk and Skull Aircut replacement doesn't. Because Mighty Morphin Season 1, Bulk and Skull are bullies. You watch the first episode, they walk in, they flirt with Kimberly, they bully Billy, and then get ass owned by Jason, and then basically run away from Jason. They are literal bullies. By the time In Space happens, they are literally trying to stand up and go, "Oi, we're Power Rangers, fuck with us," instead of letting everyone else get hurt. They are heroes by the end of it. That's character development, and it's gold. It is gold.
But this is this is another thing about the Saban era which kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I'm getting onto Zeo here, and the way they handled Billy's character, because I remember seeing this in an interview where David Yost mentioned how he wasn't even there on set when the whole part of when it said Billy was going off to that weird planet. I forgot what it was called. Yeah, Akotar. And like, if you can even watch the episode back when it's Billy talking, that is not David Yost. That is someone else.
No. Right, no, you're wrong there, actually. The last scene of Billy Yost, David. Don't know why I said Billy Yost.
Billy Yost.
I combined two people there. The last.
I mean, they are the same person technically, so it works.
the last scene of Billy, where it's for a monitor, it is David Yost. It is actually his image.
Well, that's his image, yes. But his voice.
No, it is his voice. What it is they've taken audio from previous episodes, mixed it up, chopped it together, and put it through.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That makes more sense.
It's not new audio. It's redone audio.
If you hear, because if you listen really closely, it sounds really off. It sounds really choppy and stuff. And you hear from this interview that Billy said that he he wasn't there because he left. He walked out.
Yep.
And the reasons behind it are extremely fucked up. Because from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers all the way to Zeo, he had been dealing with all sorts of fucking abuse.
Yep.
Like diabolical shit that I don't think I can probably say.
Oh no, it's fine. This is why I had to meet David Jost. When I saw there was an opportunity to meet David Jost, I fucking took it, bro. Because
and you have no fucking idea how jealous I was. Trust me.
He came back. That takes balls to come back.
He did, yeah.
Like
he knew not to come back for Redacted, so that
this is the thing. He's in Cosmic Fury and he's in the Once and Always special. Now, Once and Always does have Rocky, Kat, and Zack in it, but the main story plot is about Billy. And then in Cosmic Fury, the only Mighty Morphin Ranger, the only Ranger that we see from Saban is Billy.
Yeah.
It's almost like Power Rangers are like, yeah, sorry, David Jost, we kind of fucked with you. We'll make sure you're like the golden child of the storyline. And he is. He's the reason why Cosmic Fury can even morph in the first place.
And unfortunately, it's also because, well, unfortunately, Jason David Frank is no longer with us, so Tommy can no longer be shown.
Yeah, but no, see, that's the thing. David Jost was going to be the only person to appear in Cosmic Fury anyway.
Yeah, I get that.
Jason David Frank was meant to be in Once and Always. That he was meant to be in.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, because this is Power Rangers we're talking about, and everyone and their dog loved Tommy Oliver, they would have probably tried in some way to get him involved. Like,
see, going to Beast Morphers real quick, that's actually one of the laziest writing ever, is their major crossover. So in Sentai, they do movie events and they do movies, and they call it movies. They're about an hour long.
I think I know what you're talking about.
They did a dinosaur crossover, so we know it as Mighty Morphin, Dino Thunder, Dino Charge. But in Beast Morphers, they did that as a crossover. But because they had to use the Sentai footage, when we have this amazing 3 Ranger team crossover, only one of them from Mighty Morphin we see more from, that's Jason. We do see some of the Dino Charge Rangers. And then we don't see any of the Dino Thunder Rangers unmorphed. They're all morphed because they couldn't get the actors. And then the Beast Morphers fight a different bad guy in a different location.
Because they needed the Sentai footage, yeah.
Yeah,
which means it's very disconnected. Like,
but the thing is, and like everyone keeps on saying that Power Rangers is dead. It's not dead. The issue here is, the issue that we kind of sat on is that Hasbro owns Power Rangers. Now Hasbro have done a good job so far. They have done phenomenal. Once and Always was fucking fantastic. Cosmic Fury was fucking fantastic. The comic books have done really well. The new comic book got dropped this week of recording this, called Power Rangers Prime. It takes place in the future. Zordon's race have kind of taken over Earth in a sense. Like, that's what kind of looks like. And it's kind of, they're trying to do kind of like Marvel, like the Ultimate Universe type thing, where it's a bit more dark, a bit more. And honestly, the first issue came out this week, and so many people are praising it. It's gotten so much love. The issue here is, take away the merchandise, because that's a different conversation in itself.
Oh yeah.
Hasbro went to Netflix and offered them their script, and Netflix said no. Because apparently Hasbro's idea is to redo Mighty Morphin, and they've picked like 10 episodes out of the 50-something there is, and they want to do these specific 10. It won't be exactly word for word, script for script, but they're redoing the 10 episodes. And everyone that Hasbro keeps going to and going, hey, adapt this, do this. Everyone's like, well, no, what's the point? And Netflix even turned them down. Netflix will adapt fucking anything these days. So that says a lot.
Yeah.
Where we know that they can do good stuff without Sentai. Cosmic Fury, the only Sentai they used is the Zord footage, which means every bit of acting you see is American made, and it was so fucking good. then we have things like the Titanium Ranger, Lightspeed Rescue, American made. The Spirit Rangers from Jungle Fury, American made. I love the Spirit Rangers. The idea that you can be a ranger without morphing, you project the ranger, is such an interesting idea, and it's never been explored since, which really pisses me off.
Yeah.
But then you have things like certain episodes on Super Sentai, certain bad guy, Lothal from Ninja Storm, he's not in the Sentai. He's American made. Things like this. And it's just like you can they can do good, and we've seen the storylines they can come up with. But then obviously, Hasbro is a toy making company, and they do good with certain IP. They do good with certain titles, but I don't know. Right now, we're not seeing anything from Power Rangers, which is a shame, because the issue is when it comes to adaptating Super Sentai. Bleh.
Adapting.
Yeah, that word. Is they take their look at the Sentai and go, does it make toys? Will it sell? And they go off what they think. So there's a train Sentai, all based off trains, and they thought that it wouldn't sell.
That's why they didn't go forward with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, everyone that I've spoken to have said that they'd love it if they adapted the train Sentai. And I mean, I've spoken to a lot of Power Ranger fans about this, and there's now a YouTube channel out there who are basically doing what Saban, Disney, Hasbro have done. They're taking the Sentai footage, but they're making a fan film of themselves, and then using the Sentai as the Ranger part. So they're kind of adapting it in as such. It's actually pretty good what I've seen so far. But I'm confused on why they looked at the trains and went, oh yeah, that wouldn't work. Europe love trains. Trains are a massive history part of Europe and UK.
I'm gonna tell you right now, there is one Sentai that comes to mind right now, which I know would have 100% have sold. That one Sentai, which has the two group of rangers, one being like thieves and the other one's like cops. They would have sold. They would have sold. Because one, let's just say that one is that. I'm just gonna say this right now, and I watched the first episode of that Sentai, and it's pretty fucking obvious. This Sentai is based off of Persona 5. It is. Like even the title screen and stuff is the same font as Persona 5.
You say that, but Persona and Sentai, the people behind their companies are really madly respect each other. In Persona, there's a Sentai,
I know. Yeah, Neo Featherman. Yeah, I know. Yeah, because I play the games. So,
but the sad thing is, you've got there are Sentais out there that I look at and go, would this work?
I think that Sentai definitely could have worked.
Oh yeah, Lupin Ranger.
Yeah.
Whatever, I can't remember.
Cop Ranger, I think it's called. Like Cop Ranger. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, Sentai get away with doing weird and wacky stuff. There's a I think it was 2 years ago, the Sentai was bug themed, but they were knights and they were royalty, and it looks really good, but you adapt it, it might not have done well. The current Sentai is called Boom Rangers, another car themed one. So many people hate the suits because they're so weird, wacky, and out there. And their upgraded form is literally race car jackets. Which everyone says is dumb, but I think is fucking awesome. The way they strap them on and everything looks so sick. But that wouldn't adapt very well. And Power Rangers did something really weird. They skipped and then went backtracked because Beast Morphers, the Sentai comes before Ninja Steel, I think, or something like that. The Beast Morphers in the Sentai is way before. They skipped over it, adapted another Sentai or two, and then went back to what is Beast Morphers. And so many people didn't think we'd ever see Beast Morphers adapted, but we did.
I mean, hey, this isn't the first time something weird like this has happened. Let's backtrack all the way to Mighty Morphin. in the second season, they brought in the White Tiger Ranger from the season
sequel. Yeah, the sequel.
after the one that Mighty Morphin adapted from. Like, because they thought it looked semi-similar to Die Ranger, so it was like, all right, yeah, we'll just put that in there to have Tommy be brought back, who originally wasn't actually gonna be the White Ranger. I forgot who the guy's name was that he was gonna be, but because everybody loved Tommy Oliver in the first season, they were like, everyone was like, bring him back, and they were just like, all right, there you go.
See, I actually prefer the comics, because in the comics they actually have the red, the blue, the black, the yellow, the pink, the green, and the white all on one team. Tommy's the white and someone else becomes the Green Ranger. I think that's absolutely fucking class.
Yeah, it just shows that the Green Ranger powers doesn't actually die.
Well, see, Mighty Morphin has a lot of plot holes. That's the issue, because like,
yeah,
the Green Dragon Zord is still waiting at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, even now, it's still
even
there,
now, yeah, it is still there, just waiting. He's
still there by Angel Grove. Like, where the fuck?
He is sat there with a massive deck of cards playing fucking, solitaire by himself.
He's playing fucking Connect 4, just be like, when is he? He's probably thinking, when is he gonna play that fucking flute? Like, come on.
Well, see, here's another thing that makes no effing sense. In the Ninja Steel crossover, we're introduced to the Master Morpher, which is Tommy's, and it allows him to morph into all five. Now, we don't see all five. It's actually the Green Dragon comic book that shows us that he can morph into all five, because Turbo isn't seen in the episode. But he morphs into the White Ranger, but then he has his Falcon Zord.
From the movie.
No. The Falcon Zord was in the show. That's his ninja power. But the ninja powers are meant to be destroyed.
Oh, wait, yeah, because I'm getting mixed up. Oh, yeah, because they added it in the movie in a weirder way, but yeah.
See, I'm one of these people. I so much prefer the movie way of how they got their abilities compared to the TV show. I so much prefer the movie. I think the storyline was better.
Yeah, because like they have to go and find their powers, and they have to basically earn it in a way, whereas they just give it to them in the show by if I remember correctly, what the weird ninja that was in the show that was based off of what the Alien Rangers were based off, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, so Alien Rangers is a ninja season.
Yeah.
Hence why their Zords all humanoid. And it's very, very odd. The Sentai is very strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's called Ninja in Power Rangers, and yeah, he's based off that. Because we took the animal Zords from that, which also makes no sense.
Yeah, this is why Mighty Morphin season 3 onwards is just kind of weird. It's just super bizarre the way they do it.
So what would you say is the takeaway redacted, because we know that's going to be your answer. Takeaway redacted. What would you say is the worst Power Rangers season?
Ooh, okay. Ooh, this is tough because a lot of them are good. Then there are some that I'm not a big fan of. I'll talk about the ones that I wasn't really a massive fan of.
That's good.
And then after I do that, I will pick out which one I think out of all of them I liked the least. So the season that at first I wasn't really a fan of is Turbo. Because one, let's be honest, the mentor character is the most pointless character in the entire series.
She's
weird, she talks in questions, and she has no plot purpose.
Originally, there's a theory that originally she was meant to be the sister to the main villain. Divatox, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, because like obviously Diva talks when you see her in her like base and stuff. Talks to what the name? Oh, what was her name? What was the mentor's name? I cannot remember for the life of me what her name was.
Billy and Billy is listening to this, screaming right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to. It's bugging the fuck out of me right now.
Demetria.
Demetria, that was it, right? Yeah. So because she's like, oh, of course it's Demetria. Of course.
Yeah, she knows who it is. Yeah.
Like they know each other well, but Demetria doesn't really say anything about Diva talks. So it's like, I just think I'll be honest. I just don't think they did her character right. That was just off to me. And not only that, like what happens in Turbo, the way they get their powers and how they explain it is so fucking dumb. Because for starters, the movie Turbo is awful. Like it's awful. Like we can't deny that it's awful. It's worse than the Power Rangers Mighty Morphin movie. It's worse because one, not a lot of stuff happens during the movie, and secondly, the reason why I find it dumb is because Zordon describes the turbo powers as being an upgrade. Yet the Zeo crystals are like some of the most powerful powers in the world.
Oh no. In the universe, and not only that, it's also stated in the TV show they're forever growing. As in, by 2025, they're gods. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm with you there.
And they give them up for a fucking car. Like
no, right, okay. I have to overstep on the fact the car. Like that doesn't matter. It's Power Rangers. Let's be honest. They give up dinosaurs for a fucking bunch of animals. That's also stupid. The thing that makes no sense is Zordon states that in the background, behind all of it, whilst the Power Rangers are fighting and stuff, Alpha and Zordon have been busy making the Zords, or something like that. So you're telling me that an almighty crystal that can grant you Egyptian godlike powers and become, like, amazingly strong gets outweighed by a bunch of cars made by a robot and a head in a tube? Fuck that.
Yeah, like, jog the fuck on. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't mind the fact that, I mean, first off, it's kind of I'm trying to like piece my thoughts about this, and this is something that might get a little controversial from me because of obviously this is Turbo we're talking about. I feel like I have to bring this up. The inclusion of Justin, was his name Justin?
Yeah.
I feel like that was actually a pretty interesting move on their behalf, because I know when Turbo came out, everybody hated it. Everybody hated the fact that Justin was a kid and stuff like that in that series. But I thought it was actually a pretty unique move. I kind of liked it.
Okay, so here's the funny thing, right? I know so many people that when they first watched Turbo, they looked at a kid becoming a ranger thinking, oh, that's so stupid, blah, blah, blah. But now people are defending it. To the point, my Power Tie Willie, he's another person who writes stories and stuff. In one of his storylines, he's got a Power Ranger team made by, like, they're based off his kids. And then the Blue Ranger is Justin. He actually comes back as like a 16-year-old or something. And his mode of transport is a blue truck based off his Turbo Zord. But he doesn't have his... But like he literally loses... I don't think Willie's ever explained what happened to his turbo power. But he then becomes a Cyberforce Ranger. He now is a different Ranger. And like something that's also really cool, the actor for Justin... has made a comic book that's coming out. I think it's the end of this month, maybe December. I can't remember. It's not Power Rangers because I don't think Hasbro liked the idea, but he's made a team of suited warriors, air quote. One of them's called Dustin, who looks just like Justin. He's got a Zach copycat, an Adam copycat, a Kimberly copycat, and I think a Tommy copycat. But they all look literally like Tommy, Kimberly, Zach, Adam, and Justin. And Justin's the kid. Or sorry, Dustin is a kid. But he's basically telling his
Are you sure?
Justin
Are you sure you're not
story.
talking about Dustin from Ninja Storm? Because he also looks kind of similar to he also looks kind of similar to Justin in a way.
But like he's basically doing his own Justin storyline without it being Justin, which I thought was cool. But here's the thing, though. So many people hated Justin, but Super Sentai did it to, like, the two biggest sixth rangers up to this point were kids in the Sentai, which is the White Ranger and the Gold Zia Ranger are both kids.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, okay, yeah. So that's that point that I wanted to make. And then here comes the part about the whole cast switch up, which at first I was like, when I was younger and I heard about that, I was like, why would they do that? Like, they're most popular characters, but it's like, here, learning the reasons why, like, in behind the scenes and stuff, totally understandable. Because, you know, at that point, Power Rangers was losing popularity, they were losing money, so they couldn't pay the actors anymore, so they left. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I can kind of understand that. Not to mention, I know Saban back then was kind of a dickhead. I'm not gonna lie, he seemed like kind of an asshole. The new cast I don't really like in Turbo, but I really like them in space. I really like them in space.
So I'm going to use TJ here for a second because that's the main character change. I do not like him in Turbo. The second the second he's the blue in Space Ranger, he's one of my favorite Blue Rangers.
That's what I mean. Like, he's not
so
like
much for him.
TJ. Okay, this is not trying to dog on TJ or his actor, but I'll be honest. When I looked at TJ, he did not feel like leader material to me. He does not feel like a leader because, that's just facts, and that's what I'm saying. He had some great character, and this is the problem with it being half a season because there's not a lot of time for them left to get character development.
Yeah,
like that, like they do in Space, because in Space they have a whole fucking season to do that shit, and it works out better. It works better for them.
So, see, in Space, I have one issue within Space, and it is actually about Justin, funny enough.
Okay.
Justin comes back for an episode, and it's not his Zord, it's their additional Zords or something, their additional cars. There's a red and a blue one, and the blue one comes to Justin and gives him his morpher. He gets his Turbo Ranger powers back to help out the team. And then he keeps them, and he also says to the team, "Hey, if you need my help, I can't leave Earth, but I can help." In the end of In Space, we see the Phantom Ranger, the Blue Centaurian, the Alien Rangers. We see all these factions fighting, trying to save the universe. Yet we don't see Justin.
Like, where did this empty promise come from, Justin? Like, hello?
They've just saved the planet. Justin runs in. Sorry, I was stuck on Mario. The fucking Bowser bitch defeated.
Sorry, I had homework to do. I'm here now. Like, what? He's like fucking Hawkeye skipping out on Infinity War. Like,
see, it's like fucking Ninja Storm. My only major complaint about Ninja Storm is they all act like Power Rangers don't exist.
Yeah.
Which it's continuity to the Ranger timeline, and in Dino Thunder, they meet the Ninja Storm Rangers. But at the very beginning, the very first episode, everyone's like, "Oh, Power Rangers don't exist. It's just the comic book." And then when Dustin gets his morph, he's like, see, I told you Power Rangers are real. Alien invasions, Zords blowing up mountains and buildings.
The fact that the comic book geek is the only one that actually can understand what he's getting himself into, and bearing in mind he's the first one to ever fucking morph, like, that just shows how much of a fucking G Dustin is. Like,
yeah, true.
Like, see, I will admit, during okay, we are going a bit ahead here to Ninja Storm because we're still back on Turbo. because I'm still trying to list off the seasons I'm not a fan of. But yeah, to be honest, that's really all I've got left to say about Turbo, because Turbo, those are my main gripes with it. Like the way that was listed, but it's not my least favorite of all time. It's meh. It's very meh.
I have to throw in one more gripe about Turbo.
All right,
and
go on.
it's not the fact that it happens; it's the fact that it was done poorly. They had a crossover with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh my god! Yeah, wait, hold on. No, it wasn't Turbo that did it.
Yes,
no, that was in space. I thought that was in space, wasn't it?
Is it in space?
Hold on, let me check. Let me double check.
Yeah, check. It might be in space actually because they take over
Power Rangers Ninja Turtle crossover. Let me double check.
You're gonna get the comic book now.
It's in space. It's in space. It is in space because I just saw the.
Okay.
I just saw like a preview.
Either way,
and it has the blue Space Ranger. Yeah.
It doesn't matter which season it is. It was done poorly as fuck.
Oh now, yeah, everyone says it's like one of the. Yeah.
The reason why they did that crossover is the same reason why in Power Rangers Season 3 Mighty Morphin they did a crossover of Mask Rider, because the Bomb was making bank. They had enough money to start branching off. We had VR Troopers, Big Bad Beetleborgs, a Mask Rider, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So they're using Power Rangers, their biggest, most popular franchise, to kind of like backdoor, like open up some doors, say, hey kids, guess what? There's other things you can be watching, etc., etc. But it was done so bad.
It's funny you mentioned that the crossover they did with Ninja Turtles, because that show is by far one of, if not the worst Ninja Turtles shows of all time. And did you know it wasn't even called, the series that they crossovered with isn't even called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's just called no, as in like the actual show that Power Rangers crossovered with. I know this because I watched it when I was younger. It's literally called Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. The Teenage Mutant wasn't even around at that point. Like, it wasn't until the show on Nickelodeon and like all that came out. That's when the Teenage Mutant part came in. Like,
now I will say this. Both the Turtles and the Ranger teams both go, well, they don't exist. That's fair. That is fair. That's a fair moment to have a character go, oh, that doesn't exist. That's a fair. But Dustin saying arguing that the Rangers exist with his two teammates is bullshit. Carry on with your list of bad seasons, please.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we can finally move on for Turbo because I mean, In Space was good. Lost Galaxy, fucking brilliant. Love that series to death.
It's Lost Galaxy's fantastic, but it has so many. It didn't know what to do with itself. There are three major bad guys.
There are some. I will admit this show definitely has more filler episodes than most. I will admit.
Oh no. I don't mind filler episodes if they're done good, but it has three major villains. The whole Lost Galaxy aspect is in like the last 8 episodes.
That is true. Yes, the reason why I love Lost Galaxy is because of the storylines they brought into it. Pretty much every single main storyline between the Rangers, I love.
Magna Defender. Not Mike, as in the original Magna Defender who lost his son and stuff.
Fucking brilliant.
One of the best. Yeah, one of the best backstories in Power Ranger history,
and one of the most darkest as well. Like the fact that he's doing it, like the fact that he's doing this because they killed his child. Like, bruh.
Fun fact for you. In the Sentai, he doesn't have a morpher. He uses his sword as a morpher, which I think is cooler. His Mike's morpher is from the Sentai that the White Ranger is from. And also the son isn't his son; it's his brother in the Sentai. They're brothers, not father and son.
Oh, okay.
Just a fun fact for you.
Yeah,
but carry on.
But yeah, so And then the next storyline that I loved what they did with this, I don't know if you would agree, but me personally, I really like the way they handled this with the Pink Ranger.
Yeah,
How
so
they killed, because obviously they had to kill off the Pink Ranger because the actor who played her was dealing with, what was it, like cancer, I think?
yeah,
And so she had to get written off the show so that she could go and
she had to go through really intense. I think it was
like
chemo. It might not be chemo.
chemotherapy or something like that. Yeah,
And so because of her treatment, it wasn't because she was ill, it was because of her treatment. She had to be killed. But the way they wrote her off, yes, I agree. Fantastic.
it's brilliant. And then to find a replacement is one of the main villains from In Space.
Corone. Yep, Corone.
That shit I love to death. That shit is incredible. And not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest, Corone's cute as fuck. I can't even deny it. Like the way she acts and stuff is just like, oh, she's so precious.
Okay, so the thing that makes Corone being the Pink Ranger even even sweeter is the fact there's an episode dedicated to her fighting her evil self.
Oh my god,
it's like a test.
Yeah.
She has to forgive herself or some shit. But it's such a it kind of doesn't explain In Space, but it's almost like a sequel to In Space. It's more story for her, and it's not. It's better than them going, "Oh yeah, by the way, she's just a Pink Ranger now." No, they actually decided to give they decided to give an episode of her battling her demon. She was a bad guy. She almost killed her brother and all this jazz. Oh no, but by the way, she's now a Power Ranger. She's now the thing that she tried to kill, and now she has to deal with it.
There's one thing that you would only really realize this if you've watched In Space, but this is what makes her being the Pink Ranger incredible. Andros in Space describes that when her, Corone, and him were younger, they said that their dream was to both be Power Rangers. Andros gets to be a Power Ranger in Space. Corone gets to be a Power Ranger in Lost Galaxy.
Yeah.
Which I think bringing back that kind, and it, like, they don't really mention it in Lost Galaxy, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you realize that, it's fucking incredible.
Okay, so we don't mention Redacted.
No, of course not.
But when they do show off the Legacy Rangers in Redacted, and there's moments where they lift up their helmets.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Corone.
When Corone does it,
you see a flash of
astronomer.
Yeah.
Not you don't see. You see if I think that was the only good thing about that.
That was the one good scene from that entire series, to be honest. Yes. But anyway,
also another fun fact: when she's astronomer, she never has bright pink hair.
No, you're right.
She has purple, she has red, she has like a blondie, she has black, but she never has pink, which I think also is fantastic.
But then she gets short brown hair when she gets like full on like mind controlled and dead inside it and shit like that.
I just think that's absolutely perfect. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but that was good.
Yeah. Anyway, backpedaling a little bit. So now, so we basically, I think those are like the main things about Lost Galaxy that we could talk about. And then there's Lightspeed Rescue. Now, this is my thing about Lightspeed Rescue. I think the show is good. It's not great. It's not bad or terrible. It's fine. I can watch it without feeling like I'm about to tear my hair out of stupidity. There are still a couple bits that don't make sense. Like, for example, the whole thing between the Blue Ranger and this one mermaid character just keeps being brought up every now and then, which is so bizarre to me. Like, why they made that choice? Like, they make the Blue Ranger out to be this hard guy who could fight anyone and shit like that. Then all of a sudden, he's there simping over a mermaid. Like, like, hello? What? I feel like the only real good character that came out of well, actually, to be fair, there's like actually to be fair, I do like what was his name, Mitchell, the guy that gives the Rangers the morphers.
Commander Mitchell. Yeah.
Commander Mitchell. I think they did his character pretty well. I can't lie, and I really like the third episode of the series where like with what he did with Carter, like the fact that like Carter starts off by like berating Mitchell by saying, "Why did you tell me not to go after the people that were being hurt? Tell me to go after the thing here. Why would you do that? They were in danger, you know." Until Carter realizes, wait, this is highly flammable. If that fire got near that, everyone would have died. Like
one thing I'll give to Lightspeed Rescue is one, they are public heroes. They morph in public. They literally they are public heroes.
They are known as heroes. Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
But one thing I absolutely love is that Carter is not a martial artist. That's why he always uses his guns. Not only that, he literally the very first time he sees a monster, he hits it with his car. That's just beautiful. But also, the whole gun use thing goes so far that even in the Forever Red crossover in Wild Force, where they bring back all the Red Rangers, Carter still only uses his gun.
Yeah, like
I think that's just golden. That is so good. Like, he's not a martial artist, so they don't make him a martial artist.
Yeah, because he's oh god, what you call it? A firefighter. That's it.
Yeah, he's a firefighter.
Yeah. Because everyone else is like a policeman or something like that in the show. Okay. Second thing about Lightspeed Rescue, that I'll pick out stuff that I like and dislike. I mean, I'll be honest. Lightspeed Rescue made the Green Ranger to look like a fucking fool, like most of the time.
Yeah, but he was good though. He's great.
That doesn't mean, I'm not saying he's bad character. I like him as a character. It's just they really done him dirty. They did him dirty.
You say that. Scenes. You say that, but he's one of the only Rangers who not only gets the girl but gets married.
Yeah. Like, but at the beginning, like, he has made a fucking fool of himself, like, in the first few episodes. Like, goddamn does he. And
yeah, but saying that, though, that is actually very natural to happen, where you have a group. One of them is going to be, like, you know, the player, the jokester and stuff.
I mean, these are typical Power Ranger tropes. Like, everyone's going to have to have one of them, at least. Like, I'm not going to lie. I feel like the Yellow Ranger is the most forgettable one. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
The character had a purpose. Like, Carter's the leader, the Blue Ranger's the big martial arts guy, the Green Ranger's the comic relief, you know, girl, and the Pink Ranger's the daughter of the commander.
And also the sister to the Titanium Ranger.
Yeah. What the fuck is the Yellow Ranger? Like,
I will say this though, Lightspeed Rescue has one of the ugliest battleizers for the Red Ranger ever. I'm just putting that out there. It is ugly as fuck.
We haven't even spoken about the battleizers. Oh fuck, we have to talk about that now. Because the first ever battleizer was in space, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that one was kind of
It is but for the fact that it's the first battleizer,
we can give it a pass. We can give it a pass.
The introduction, but not only that, the very first time you see him morph into the battleizer, one, he's not even morphed, he's just in civilian mode. 2, it's an accident, but 3, he actually screams in pain. Like, it's actually a really cool scene.
Yeah. And then in Lightspeed Rescue, isn't it like Carter just becomes his bike?
Him and his bike become a hybrid, yeah.
Which I think is so fucking stupid.
It is a bit dumb.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks really ugly on him too. Like, it does not look good. And then in Lost Galaxy,
it's not good. I don't like Lost Galaxies.
I mean, I
much
like the
prefer-
role I like the role it played in the ending, but that's about it. To be honest,
I much prefer the likes of Orion, the group the additional ability weapons that the group has. You know, with the golden arm brace, they have.
oh
like,
yeah,
additional-
yeah, yeah. That shit's cool,
That's stunning, and the fact that it attaches to the Megazord as well. Fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, anyway, back to season and not just analyzers. The villain of Lightspeed Rescue,
Nah. See, the main villain's air,
Yeah.
but the main demon who isn't the main bad guy, he's like the main general, I guess.
The general of them.
Yeah, he's actually got decent storyline. You see him fuck up. You know, he tries to backstab. He tries to get his own way, but he also tries to make amends. You know, he makes.
Was he also the one?
People.
Was he also the one that made the deal with the Titanium Ranger, being like, "Oh, if you use your powers, this snake will crawl up your back."
Yeah. So he makes a deal with Commander Carter to save his son's life, but that means that he kidnaps the kid, and then he curses him.
Wait, hold on, backpedal. Commander Carter.
Commander fucking Mitchell, shut up.
I was about to say, why did Carter have a kid?
So he makes a deal.
You never know.
He makes a deal with Mitchell about saving Ryan, which means he actually technically keeps Ryan, and then he curses Ryan. So every time that he morphs, the snake tattoo goes up. Which, by the way, is dark as fuck.
It's dark as fuck. But originally, they pretty much. He pretty much raised him like how Darth Vader raises Starkiller in Force Unleashed. Like he raises him to basically hate his father, and just to hate everything. So, and obviously he then realizes, wait, that's not right, and then And I will admit, like as much as like I see why Ryan didn't show up very much, because obviously
they had to stick to the Sentinel footage,
and it's an American-made thing, so they had to spend money to make these scenes happen. So obviously, they want to try and minimalize that as much as possible. I get that, but like, I don't know. Like after the arc happened, he just ended up vanishing for most of the series. Like
he does have an important role though, because he's the person who finds information on how to beat the bad guy or something like that.
Yeah,
he at least they did something with him.
They tried to compensate for it, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
Sure.
Like I think like it would. I mean, again, I don't hate it because of that problem. Like I get it. It's hard to do that kind of stuff. It is just unfortunate that it had to go that way.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that he was in was cool. Quite cool. Oh Jesus! Hold on, I'll be there a second.
Prepare to dive into Universe 19, with many stories revolving around the Ultra Rangers, the Power Rangers, and the Kamen Riders. Joining them are the likes of the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four. But that is not all. You can also find stories revolving around Mega Man, Ben Tennyson, and Danny Phantom.
What do you think you're doing?
Doing the promo for Universe 19.
Okay, and you're missing all the important bits.
Which are...
Oh, I don't know. How about where people can find these stories?
Yeah, dude. Universe 19. I already mentioned that, actually.
Platforms. I'm talking about what platforms.
Oh, I see. Well, I can do
If you want to hear the tales of Universe 19, check out Power Rangers Universe 19, the podcast, for the Power Rangers, Kamen Riders, and Beetle Trooper stories. On the Marvel Universe 19 YouTube channel, you can find the Marvel stories, and the rest are spread across the following YouTube channels: Tiger Tales, Tiger Tales The Lost Stories, and Tiger Tales Game Over. Check out the ever-growing Universe 19 and all its stories.
Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. My dad called me. You can cut out how long I was gone for. But anyway, so moving on to, well, we've spoken enough about Lost Galaxy, so
Time Force is next.
yeah, Time Force. Oh, I gotta say this, Time Force is fucking brilliant. Time Force is amazing. It's definitely one of the best seasons out there.
Time Force is. I have one gripe with Time Force, and if you really think about it, a lot of Yellow Rangers have fallen the same thing. Katie doesn't get enough screen time. She doesn't get enough. So she has one major episode where she panics about how her family is going to be affected in the future. Is the future getting affected? All this other. That's one episode.
Yeah,
that is it. You can't blame Time Force for that, because a lot of Yellow Rangers, we've mentioned Yellow Rangers already, Yellow Rangers just don't get enough screen time, which is a shame, because some of them are actually really cool characters, including Katie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they wrote every character in Time Force pretty fucking good. Like, even the screen time we do get with the Yellow Ranger, spot on. Like, it's great. Like, and honestly, I really like the way they wrote in the Quantum Ranger.
Yeah, agreed.
I like that. Like the way oh fuck, what was the Red Ranger's name called again?
Wes.
Wes, thank you. The way that Wes and
Eric.
I forgot what Eric, thank you. Sorry. I remember what they look like, I just forget their names. I remember people's faces more than the way they did Wes and Eric, the way they have like this little they're not like against each other, but it's like they're almost like rivals in a way.
Oh no. Eric hates Wes in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
he hates the fact that Wes is a man of money. You know, he even says in the finale, "You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth." You know, we are not the same. And then Wes goes, "Yes, we are. We're both Rangers. We're heroes, dude."
I love the fact, but yeah, because he basically makes the point of, you had everything handed to you. I had to work for it. And I love that. I love and I love the way Wes starts off as this arrogant asshole who has all the money, has everything going for him, stuff like that, and then he gets put down to earth by being the role of a Power Ranger, and he has to choose whether to be in this group and fight to save humanity, or fight to save humanity and give up his planned life, or continue the path he's on and sack all that off.
See, there's a specific episode where up to this point, Wes and his dad have argued several times. His dad finds out he's a ranger, tells him not to be. There's different plot points where his company does something that affects the future and all this jazz. But there's a specific episode where Rancid goes to I think it's a lab, and his dad's there, and his dad stands up to Rancid no, my son will stop you. You know, you're evil. You're nothing. You're not even human. And Rancid throws an energy bolt, blows up the lab, and his dad gets hurt and stuff. And his dad's why are you in the hospital room with me? What are you doing? Go be a ranger. And it's just clarity. It's almost like he's saying, I'm proud of you, dude. Hello, go be a hero, duh. And
you know what your role is here. Go on. It's just God.
It's one of
amazing.
Time for the whole dynamic between Wes, Eric, and then Wes's dad. That triangle is some of the best character dynamics, character progression, storytelling in all Power Rangers. I don't care what anyone.
And I don't think we can talk about Time Force without talking about the growth. Hold on 1 second.
I apologize. My father keeps on calling him.
I'm back. Sorry, I'm getting called a lot. But anyway,
now you're popular.
Yeah, I know, right? But anyway, like I was saying, I don't think we can talk about Time Force without talking about the progression of relationship between Wes and Jen. Like, I don't think we can talk about it without mentioning that.
So one of my favorite things about Jen is she's technically the leader.
Yes, I love that. I love that they changed I love how they changed the dynamic with that being like, oh, I mean, technically in the beginning, like in the very, very beginning, the Red Ranger is the leader, technically. But Jen is up there with him.
Yeah.
Until obviously he gets offed. And that's when, like, you know.
Well, you say that he's not because he's alive later on, but yeah, just in that very scene, we'll just say he is because he fucking dies. He does die there. It shows that he dies. So he just somehow comes back later on, which I don't still fully understand how that works. But besides that, I will say this, and a lot of people are gonna roll their eyes at me. Kimberly was like every guy's like, you know, hot chick like, on TV, yeah. To the point when I met Amy Jo, she had one of the longest lines to take a picture with, and I'm not joking. There was about 3 women, 2 men under the age of 25, and about 4 kids. The rest of the line were grown ass dads. No word of a lie. My crush, my Power Ranger hot mama was Jen. Holy fuck! The Wild Force Time Force crossover. The first scene where she throws off that cloak, she's in that black, and she flips. Holy fuck! Yeah, she is fit as fuck.
Neurons activated.
Yes, like she is fucking fit in that, man.
Oh yeah.
I apologize to Billy Jim and all that lot listening.
Honestly, I can't deny that. I cannot deny that at all. That is like I saw that scene and I was just like, oh damn. Oh damn. Alright, I see you, Jen.
Can I just say I watched her live on Instagram a little while ago. She is still pretty fit.
She's still good. She's still looking good to this day. You'll love to see it. But yeah.
Anyway, Time Force.
Back to Time Force. Let's wound back the time here and go to Time Force. Basically, yeah, the relationship there is great. I do like the way they also wrote the whole thing about the original Red Ranger coming back later on in the season, being
yeah, and he tries to command the team.
Him becoming like a hard ass, trying to like, you know, get everything, because obviously now they're all realizing, wait, we don't like the way we're doing this anymore. We prefer it this way and stuff. Even Jen is like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what to do here because I'm here slowly falling in love with this guy, but you're now back. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's so weird. And
the thing is, well, when it comes to Alex being all like, you know, in charge and trying to boss me around, they play it really well because it's not even when they're Power Rangers. When he first turns up, he actually barks them and go, "Why are you wearing civilian clothes for? You know, put on your uniforms, you know, and all that." That it just shows that he's a man of rank. You know, he's a man of he's got like this military sort of like attitude to
it,
drill
sergeant almost.
Drill sergeant. Exactly.
And then eventually it gets to a stage where Jen is just like, like I just don't feel it anymore, man. Like, I just don't. Gives him back the ring. Like, when you see that scene, it's like, she did that. She went there.
One thing that completely breaks my heart is the fact that Wes and Jen aren't actually officially together.
No, because they never got a chance to until
because she has to go back to the year 3000.
Yeah, that's like when I saw that ending, like, man, I nearly shed a tear. I was like, fuck, come on, man.
Something else as well. And this is one of the reasons why I love the villain for Dino Fury. I love it when they mix up the bad guys. I hate villains that are just like, oh yes, I'm evil, I'm going to take over the world. Hence why Samurai's villain didn't work so well. Mm-hmm. The way Rancic loses is fucking amazing.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. When he basically realizes
he hurt his own daughter who's holding a baby who's obviously innocent, pure. It hasn't done it. It's a baby. And when he sees his own daughter who's raised by his hatred defending this tiny little thing who can't defend itself, he gives up. He literally sees that and goes like,
nah, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Like, this is wrong. So he's like, take me in.
And the best thing is as well, he literally walks up to Jen and just holds his hands out, and he's like, "Yeah, just take me." And then when she clips on the handcuffs, you can see him just be at peace with it, and it's just like, that is how you fucking write a villain, man. That is sick.
Yeah, that shit was awesome. Like, yeah, Time Force honestly has, whilst it has some small problems here and there, but it's not enough. It's not enough to me to point them out and say that this is bad. Like, this is one of it's up there, top 5 like best Power Ranger season.
Well, yeah, because you got Rantic, who I believe is American made. I don't think Rantic has a Super Sentai counterpart who ends up giving up. You've got Frack, who is wanting to take revenge on Rantic because he turned him into a robot, which is fucking dark as shit. You got Eric West.
That's definitely one of the more tragic villains.
Yeah,
more tragic.
And he succeeds on backstabbing him a couple times.
Yeah.
But then you've also got take away Luca and Katie, because they're the two characters that don't get a lot. But Trip, one of his solo episodes, he meets one of the mutants who doesn't want to fight. They claim to be innocent. You know, he doesn't. Or is it a girl? I'm not too sure. I'll use they. They don't want to fight. You know, it's scared. It runs away from the Rangers. So Trip defends it and shows the fact that he's also an alien. You know, he's got the crystal in his head. He can. You know, he's an alien. So he defends it, and that's such a good episode for Trip. That's such a good episode.
100%.
And they've actually continued the alien race as well, because in the comic books, Zordon's first Ranger team were in the 80s, and they get killed by the green Psycho Ranger, which we never see.
I love how this is all diverted from which seasons I like the least to just talking about every single season in chronological order now, dude, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with that. I'm full happy with that.
Well, welcome to my podcast.
Hey, I'm fine with it. I'm willing to just go from beginning to fucking end of this at this stage.
So, the race that Trip is, one of the alien race that he is the Green Psycho Ranger. And he kills his entire team first before he turns Green Psycho, and then he kills the first Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the 80s. I think that's such a cool idea that he's Trip's alien race. But anyway, yeah, Time Force is easily in the top 5. The theme song hits hard.
Oh god, Time Force's theme song is like top 2 for me. Like, my god.
Can I just say, Wes's Battleizer is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I also quite like the way he gets it as well.
Yeah. But
well, next.
Yeah, now this is your baby here.
I was gonna say next time I'm gonna be so biased.
Yeah, we got Wall Force. We've already spoken about Wall Force quite a bit earlier, but we could go over some bits that we missed out. Like some of we've already talked about Cole and his story elements, his like storyline and stuff. We already spoke about that. We spoke about we spoke quite a bit about Wall Force, actually. So there's only these little bits that we kind of missed.
There are two things I really want to mention, and that is one.
Hey, go ahead.
Wild Force is one of those seasons where they don't just get new abilities. Some Ranger seasons are really bad, where Redacted does this terribly, where it's a case of, oh yeah, by the way, guys, you have a new power just because, you know. Ninja Storm also does it kinda, where Cam's like, oh guys, I built you something because I'm bored, you know. But with Wild Force,
we'll get to Ninja Storm when we get
there. Which is next. Each Zord that they get may not be a huge massive thing, sure, but each Zord has a little bit of a history or a backstory or something.
Basically, they already have an existence there. They have a reason.
Exactly.
There. And then that ties into something else we should probably talk about. The way the Lunar Wolf Ranger becomes a thing.
Okay, so here's the thing, right?
I'll let you explain that, because I still don't 100% understand that.
Okay, so his name's Zanaku. Merrick. Merrick's is the main character.
Merrick is the guy, but Zanaku's the one that's...
Right, yeah. So Merrick is the guardian of Princess Shayla way back in time. And Master Orc is trying to destroy the Wild Zords. He's like a big threat now. And he finds this cursed mask, and he can only see a way out of winning this if he puts on the mask, turning into Zanaku. His ranger brethren, well, not rangers, they're Animarian warriors. They lock him away because they don't know how to remove the mask. They don't know how to free Merrick from Zanaku. When Zanaku's free, they kind of learn that the mask kind of works with like the moon cycle, because he does revert back to human every now and then, and he does have a human heart because one, Cole can hear it. Cole can't hear the heartbeat of orcs. And two, he cares for the White Ranger when she's injured, and he also cares for a dog, a lost dog. So he does have a heart somewhere. And so when he's able to break free, and they do eventually break the mask, not only does Merrick not want to join the Rangers because he feels bad, he stole all their Zords, and not only did he steal their Zords, it got turned into an org that they had to fight, but also he doesn't want to talk to Princess Shayla. He feels bad for letting her down, which plays into a lot of Merrick's character arc when Merrick's around. It takes so long for Merrick and Shayla to actually be in proper scenes together. But Zanaku was actually going to be my second point, because that's the only issue I have with Wild Force. Is that Master Org gets defeated, Animus and Princess Shayla take Animarium back up into the air, the Wild Zords are hidden, blah 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 blah. But then Merrick leaves with Zanaku.
Yeah, that is a bit bizarre.
And that's the only issue I have is, where the fuck did Zanaku come from? He comes from a cursed mask.
Like, how is he his own being now? Like if they were to if they were gonna explain it, be like, oh, maybe because he bonded with Merrick so much he gained his physical form. Okay, explain that. Give us a reason. Give us a reason. Don't just put that in for no reason, please.
There is a theory I did see where someone said that Zanaku isn't actually there. It's not a figment of Merrick's imagination, but it's almost like Merrick's going off to be at peace with himself or something, and it takes the form of... That is one theory, but I don't know, they never explained it.
I could kind of see that making sense, yeah.
But, Wild Force is just absolutely so much fun. The Zords are amazing. The Megazords are really cool. I did find out something interesting, which I didn't know. The third Megazord, the ISIS Megazord, the Rangers get an additional set of weapons, which we never see them use individually. They only ever put together to make the Jungle Blaster. So there's a Rhino pistol, a Giraffe dagger, a puck for the Armadillo. The Falcon gets a weird pincer clawed looking thing. I don't even know what the fuck that is. And then the White Ranger gets deer pincers. We never see them use it individually. They only ever combine them to use the blaster that they combine into, and that's because they're not Super Sentai. It's American made. So every scene that you see, the Jungle Blaster in is American footage.
No, that makes sense, actually.
I actually found that out a little while ago. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So yeah, Wild Force, pretty damn good season. In my opinion, not as good as Time Force, but it's still a solid season to me, nonetheless. Ty here is very biased because he this is his favorite season. So I'll let him have his moment.
We don't have to backtrack here, but can I also just say the Power Rangers Wild Force logo, like
even I can't deny that shit looks cool.
Like with the fangs and the eyes is fucking sick, man. But anyway, Power Rangers Ninja Storm is next.
Ninja Storm, I think, is very good. It's very good, but there are some issues here and there that do kind of pop up that makes you think, huh. First off, the thing you mentioned earlier about Cam, how he just all of a sudden just came out with the morphers, and he acts like he was the one that built all the Zords and stuff like that. He
literally Cam builds everything.
And I'll be honest, I don't think I could believe that, given who he is and how he's just this wisecrack guy. Well, not even wisecrack, just sarcastic dick at first.
No, hang on. You can, because if you listen to when he becomes Samurai Ranger for the first time, his dad actually says no. His dad doesn't want him to become a ranger. He's not actually a ninja. This is why in one of the earlier episodes, Cam goes off by himself. Shane chases after him, and Cam actually holds his own, and Shane stood there like, dude, you can fight? When did that he's the Billy
I think I
man
remember
in
him.
the chair. This is why it makes sense that he builds everything, because he doesn't train.
I think I remember he even mentioned, he said after Shane asked that question, be like, I'm not just a guy in a chair. Shit like that.
So
something like that.
The fact that he has all this time in the background makes sense and why he can build all this stuff.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit to a bit more at the beginning of Ninja Storm. One thing I want to say that I think was cool, but then they kind of mess it up at the end. The Thunder Rangers. I loved them when they were villains. Like, I liked the way they were written. Like, obviously, you could tell at the beginning who they were. It was very, very, very obvious because, one, they wore the same fucking colors. Like, how could you not?
It was obvious, but they dragged it on for like they dragged the mystery.
It was like for two whole episodes. I'm pretty sure.
Longer than that. The Thunder Rangers first show up in like the 4th episode, but then they come.
Actually, wait, no, they don't. They show up in the 3rd. They show up in the 3rd episode.
Is it 3rd? Something like that.
Yeah, third episode. Yeah.
They show up. Hunter and Blake being friends with Dustin, Shane, and Tori, and then the Thunder Rangers watching the Rangers is a good couple of episodes long before they even show up. I actually like that. Yes, okay, it's obvious as fuck, but it's kind of intriguing at the same time.
And it's also, I will, and this is something I actually do find it kind of interesting how well Blake and Hunter did at playing the friend role that they were. Like they really acted. They did really well at acting like the things that were happening around them were like new to them, and they had no idea what was going on. Like even to the stage when like Hunter noticed fucking Dustin's morpher on him, being like, is that like a weird watch or something? Like, obviously, he knows exactly what the fuck that is. He knows that's a morpher. Yeah. But he's gonna play it off like he doesn't know anything about it. And then obviously he goes back to fucking Lothar being like, hey, I know what the Rangers are, like,
quickly just to backtrack 1 second before we carry on with Ninja Storm, I have to tell you this because I'm insanely jealous. My friend Jared, he's the reason why I have this podcast. He does it if you give it out a podcast. He's talked to, lives close to, and also like has been invited to hang out with, if it happens as a maybe, the Silver Wild Force Ranger.
What?
Yeah, literally the other day on his podcast, he had Andros as a guest.
What?
Dude, I lost my mind. Like, bro, I lost my fucking shit.
Okay. Speaking of Andros, I just want to ask quickly: am I ever gonna get some fucking lines? Like ever? Like you've put me on list for stuff, and it's been like a month. It's been like a month or two. Just by the way. 1, ear infection, a bitch. 2, yes, I'm currently writing a Power Ranger and Kamen Rider crossover that has like 30 storylines involved. It's absolutely fucking mental. You are involved in that at some point. Andros, yes. And then your Freddy character, I've written like half the chapter. I'm just confused on how I get from Freddy being who he is normally to meeting the Red Ranger who gives him his morpher. I don't know how to do that. That's why you haven't gotten Freddy lines yet. Right. Okay. All right.
But anyway, Ninja Storm.
I don't mind, but by the way, I don't mind like brainstorming ideas on writing stuff because I do like to write every now and then. Like, so if you want to like talk to me about it, then
that's actually a good point.
Let me know. I don't mind brainstorming ideas. We could, we do that.
Yeah, that is very true.
Anyway, back on track.
Thunder Rangers.
Yeah, Thunder Rangers. Now this is the part that kind of where it loses me is when they eventually join the team. they lose their cool factor once they join the team. Because once they, like, pretty much once they're on, like, the opposite sides, and the part where, like, Hunter gets, like, mind controlled by, what the fuck is his name? Like, the green weirdo.
Yeah, I know you're about, yeah.
Yeah, the guy who sounds like he can't fucking breathe half the time.
Yeah.
I thought that storyline was kind of cool, where it was like, oh, Blake actually has to work with the Rangers in order to get his brother back, like, and you know, I thought that was cool. But once they join the team, they just kind of fall into the shuffle. Like, they don't have like their cool factor anymore.
That is the only time I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
Really?
Because as a story writer, I understand. Because the reason why they're cool and edgy is because they're out for revenge. They are out for blood. They want revenge on their parents, and they believe that, you know, Cam's dad is the reason. They kidnap him and everything. As soon as they learn the truth, they're calm. They understand. They don't need to be revengeful or angry and everything. It's the anger, it's the hate that makes them, air quote, cool and edgy. As soon as they lose that, they're able to be friends with the Ninja Rangers. They're able to understand them. They're able to be a team. Then they become themselves more. As a story writer, I understand why they're not so, air quote, cool and edgy.
Okay. I see what you're getting at. Yeah, I see what you're getting at. See, I like this. I like the fact we can, like, disagree on stuff and kind of debate things, but also kind of try and make the other person agree in the same time. Like, I get it now. I kind of, because obviously from watching the show, you only understand what you notice.
Yeah.
And then once you get a second opinion, like, from another party, it's like, oh, okay, that makes more sense now. Like, see, that kind of makes me understand. Okay, I can see what you mean now. Like, he loses edge, like, because obviously they're not grieving over something that didn't happen, like, you know.
I'm a sucker for looking at something. I'll watch something and I'll either look at it from 2 points of view. One, just an average viewer like everyone else, or two, I'll look at it and go, why did they make that decision from a writer's perspective? And yes, okay, you know, I feel like Hunter gets pushed to a side. I feel like Blake gets more limelight. He you know, there's the whole world he get with Tori. You know, there's the episode where Cam and Blake get brainwashed by that love potion bollocks to fight each other, etc., etc. Hunter gets pushed. He doesn't get a lot. One thing he does do, though, there is an episode where he ends up, like, talking to a kid, and the kid, I think the kid watches him morph or something, but the kid's angry, doesn't want to talk to Hunter and stuff. I think it's a program that Hunter, like, joins where, like, they talk to, like, you know, the youth and stuff. But by the end of it, Hunter's, like, fixing his bike, and the kid's like, oh, is this your bike? And Hunter's like, yeah, it is. And they start talking about bikes and things, and that's what Hunter's like, oh yeah, by the way, you know, that's the only episode he gets, and I do really like it. It's a good episode for Hunter.
See, there is one episode that I'm thinking of that I realize that this is a trope that they've done kind of similar, that they've done in the past, where there's an episode right after the Thunder Rangers join the team, where Shane and Hunter have this, like, ego battle.
Where, like, the Red Rangers,
yeah, like,
and I like it though.
I like it, yes, but this has been seen before in previous teams, where it's like, this predates way back to Mighty Morphin when Tommy joined their team. Like Jason and him had a proper feud going on because they wanted to try and be the leader and stuff. And Hunter and Shane have the same thing going on here, you know, obviously it's different because it's a different perspectives, different reasonings, that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying the trope is the same.
One thing I also like about the Thunder Rangers, which is another reason why I like the extra Rangers in Dino Charge, is they're different colors. They're not just red and blue; they're crimson and navy, which is fancy.
I really like that. Yeah.
So I want to make one point before I bring up Cam, because we have to talk about his the origin about him becoming Ranger. One of Ninja Storm falls into one of the things where there's a couple of seasons where they give us this world, this story trope, this idea, and they never do anything with it. It pisses me off. Not even the comics will do it. Ninja Storm, you have the ninja academies. Well, you have the wind, you have thunder. Okay, but what about earth, water, air? What about all that stuff?
Yeah.
You also have SPD. You have A squad and B squad. You have Jungle Fury with all different types of Paishwa academies and animal spirits and shit like this. There's different seasons that kind of give you like a small portion of their world, but that's it, and it kind of makes me want more. Ninja Storm is one of them. I want to see other ninja academies. What can other ninjas do? Is there a fire element?
The one thing I'm kind of surprised about is I'm surprised they didn't bring that one character from the Sentai Ninja Storm where it's like this black ninja character. Like, how he only... I mean, to be fair, he only showed up, like 3 times in the actual Sentai? So...
Yeah, that's true.
You know which one I'm talking about, right? The one with like the weird robe and the weird mask. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm surprised they didn't bring that up in Ninja Storm. Like, ever.
Yeah. With Cam, he's got one of my favorite origin stories of how he gets his powers.
Yeah.
I love the whole time travel element. He sees his dad and his brother argue. That's where you find out that Lothor's his actual uncle.
And how he actually became Lothor at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, you get 2 twists there, like
it's such a cheesy line, and you can see it coming, but the line where he's like he's being held and he's like, "Oh, don't call me that anymore. You can call me Lothor." It's such a cheesy bollocks line. It's such a cheesy scene, but God is it good.
Because the one thing I feel like people don't realize is when you look at that scene, you can see like the corruption in his eyes. Like his eyes are all like red, like almost bloodshot in a way. Like you can see that like obviously this power has corrupted his mind, and he's full on like he's lost it. Like he's gone. Like you're not persuading this man. He's gone now. Like that is Lothor now. I don't remember what his name used to be, but nah, that's here or there. So he gets his powers, and hilarious that it is from all people.
But like, he gets to talk to his mum, as a young woman.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of gives him some clarity as well. He sees his dad as a less of a dictator mentor and more of a man, like a human, which is really cool. And then he's got the power, but the introduction scene to the Green Samurai is fucking amazing.
Yeah. And
he looks really cool as well.
Yeah. The Morphic sequence is pretty good too. Like yeah. I feel like the way they say it, like obviously Ninja Storm, Ranger Form, Samurai Storm, the heck? Bit weird. Samurai Storm. Okay. And moving on. Yeah, that's pretty much actually no, there's still some bits. It's like those girls had some weird fucking storyline at one point, especially one where one of them tried to raise up Dustin just to trick him. Like that was weird.
One fun fact for you. In the Dino Thunder Ninja Storm crossover, the blonde reporter chick in Dino Thunder walks past one of the 2 sisters, and they both say at the same time, something about their hair or the way they look, and that's because both of the girls are played by the same actress.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite funny. I will say this, Lothor is not a good bad guy.
No. He's more, to be honest, I feel like Lothor is one of those villains that, like, he just complains a lot. He just complains a lot, and,
his 2 generals do more than he does. He sits and whines all the time. He literally sends the Thunder Rangers out, gives them any command, demand, or instruction, then wonders why he lost them. He's only useful at the end, and he's literally done in one blast. He's not a good villain.
And not only that, he thinks that they try to make him more of a comedic villain rather than an actual serious villain.
I will say this though. He does whoop the Rangers' ass. There is a couple scenes where he actually fights them. He is actually a good fighter. He is a ninja.
I wish we saw more of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
If we saw more encounters of Lothor and the actual Rangers, then I'd be able to take Lothor a bit more seriously and maybe even push past his weird antics that he has in his ship. But because you don't get that a lot, it's hard to see him. It's hard to take him seriously. Every time I see him, I'm like, bro, you're not that guy, man. You're just not.
My last
yeah.
note for Ninja Storm, and the only reason why I mentioned this is because I watched a YouTuber talk about it, and since I've watched that video, I can't help but laugh. Cam has to go look for ancient power to help, and the ancient power is electric guitar.
Oh yeah.
The ancient power is an electric guitar.
Yeah.
Power Rangers, ladies and gentlemen. Power Rangers.
Let's be honest. People that know this franchise, there's been weirder than this.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, I think we can close the book on Ninja Storm, and now we can move
Dino
on
Thunder.
to what is widely known as what a lot of people consider the best Power Ranger season of all time. And knowing what Dino Thunder did, I can see why they say that. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best season of all time, but it's really good.
I've never heard anyone say it's the best season of all time. I've heard people say it's the best Disney season.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like some people, like I'd say, like people say, like because obviously it has callbacks to the original Mighty Morphin, bringing back Tommy Oliver and all that stuff. Like that shit's cool. I like all that stuff, and I also like the way they do the whole Dino theme, whereas like the Rangers actually have their Dino abilities. Like,
see,
that's just cool.
Okay, so I'll quickly make one point before I jump on what you just said. I want to piggyback off what your comment, but quickly, just two really dumb things about Dino Thunder when it comes to Tommy Oliver. First off, Tommy leaves the Zordon era to be a racetrack driver or something, and then magically he's now a professor in like dinosaurs or whatever. So they don't ever make that connection ever. And he also roundhouse kicks a T-Rex.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Tommy went from being a high school student to kicking dinosaurs in the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
So piggybacking off, what was your comment again?
About the fact that basically the Rangers inherit their dinos' powers.
Thank you. So many people don't like civilian powers. There are so many people that complain that, well, if they have civilian powers, why do they need a morph? Blah, blah, blah. I like Dino Thunders. The only thing I don't like is the White Rangers doesn't have anything unique. He's basically Tommy Oliver.
I was actually going to ask, because I genuinely thought, what was the White Ranger's ability again? But then I'm like, oh wait, he actually just doesn't have one.
No, he does. He turns invisible. Oh no, sorry.
No, that's Tommy's ability.
No, Trent has the ability to camouflage.
Oh,
not turn invisible.
And Tommy could turn invisible.
Yeah, so it's basically the same bollocks.
Also, by the way, that one arc when Tommy was stuck in his Ranger form, I found that arc kind of funny. And then it got to a stage where, he's out of his Ranger form, but now his Brachio invisibility power is just permanently on. Which again is just funny. Like the fact that like they're just constantly trying to get him out of this perpetual hell.
But if you know the reason why behind the scenes, it makes sense.
I actually don't really know why.
So Jason David Frank kind of suffered because obviously they were in one country, his family were in another country. He wanted to go spend time with his family, his wife and his kids and stuff.
Oh yeah, wasn't this around the time when they started like filming in New Zealand?
Yeah, so he suffered from moving country, so he asked the team, "Hey, is there any way we can make it that I can leave for a couple of episodes? I need to go spend time with my kids or kid at this time or something like that." And they said, "Yeah, that's fine. Can you do voiceover work?" And he was like, "Yeah, I can do that from home." So that's why not only does his voice sound a bit weird, but
that makes
why
sense,
he's not in it properly.
Why he constantly sounds like he's talking from his Ranger suit constantly.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I understand now. That makes sense. All right, cool. But then that arc leads to probably one of the best episodes in the season. When he's in his dream sequence fighting his previous Ranger forms.
Okay, quickly, I just Googled Trent whilst we were talking because obviously, we were talking about his civilian powers. Apparently, someone can argue with me if they really want to, but I'm looking at the Power Rangers Wikipedia. His Dino gem thing gives him the powers of super speed, camouflage, teleportation, and ninja revelation, which apparently allows him to manifest a small explosion of white smoke.
Okay.
When the fuck does he use any of that?
Like, I know he can move. I know he's able to run away relatively quick because he does that a lot, but where the fuck does he use the other abilities?
So this says Trent is able to move at superhuman speeds, not as fast as Connor. He uses his powers most when he's morphed. He can blend into the background like a chameleon. It is not true invisibility like Tommy's power, so I was right there. Trent can teleport any location at will. Trent is able to appear in any place, manifesting a small explosion of white smoke, which is literally teleportation. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't really understand. If any of you know what his actual abilities are, put them in the comments. I'd be very interested to see it.
But yeah, anyway, you're right. The dream sequence, we have Tommy fighting his other Ranger forms, which a lot of people don't like for the fact of they fucked up the Green Ranger suit.
Wait, really? People hate that scene specifically because of that?
Dude, I don't like that. What they fucked up the original Ranger suit.
Well, maybe I'm willing to look past it because maybe it's probably because at the time they couldn't get the original suit back, so they had to remake it from scratch.
But they managed to do Zeo and the White Ranger perfectly fine. They literally purposely changed the Green Ranger suit on purpose.
Well, that's just Disney being Disney, innit? Like,
it's so stupid.
But hey, and actually, now that I think about it, you mentioned this earlier. Where the fuck was Turbo? Where the fuck was the Turbo Ranger at?
Okay, so there's a reason why Turbo doesn't get shown a lot, and that's because that's the one power Tommy gives away. That's the one power that Tommy does not keep.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Tommy is solely the Green Ranger, solely the White Ranger, solely the Red Zeo. He's not the only Red Turbo.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, understandable. But yeah, so you see that, and he gains his black Dino gem back, and he gets his form back, which I find is kind of good, which was kind of cool. Also, the whole thing with Mesogog being Trent's dad, and the whole like secret behind that, I thought that was kind of cool. I like the way they did it a bit.
Mesogog's voice is fucking epic. It is so
epic,
creepy.
And he's so creepy. Yeah. He even looks creepy as well. Like whenever I see him when he gets up close to the camera and stuff, I'm like, oh. I sometimes have to back up a bit. I'm like, Jesus, don't get so close to him. I just love the response of the Rangers when they first see him. It's like, how could I remember that? How could I forget that face? What's his face? Like, I just love that part. I don't know why I did. But also, can I just say, I think the cast of Dino Thunder is just great. Like, I just love all the dynamics. You know?
Yeah, like I actually think it's really quite fucked up, really, because Mesogog is Trent's dad, but also Tommy's ex business partner, and then is it what's his name? Zeltrax is another one of their partners. It's really fucked up.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to think of anything else we can really speak about Dinophobia, which hasn't already been said enough on the internet.
So fun fact about the White Ranger, he's not the Super Sentai version isn't a good guy whatsoever.
No, yeah, he's a villain. He's a villain from beginning pretty much till end, I guess you can say.
No. See, here's the funny thing. The very last fight scene is when I don't know if it's the very last fight scene, but it's the last like major arc. Then he becomes good, but he's not actually good. He actually says to the Sentai Rangers, "I'm only helping you because it benefits me."
Yeah,
and then he dies. Fun fact: he dies.
Spoiler alert: he dies.
Which is actually kind of cool though, because he's called Abbott Killer in the Sentai, and that means that every single scene where the White Ranger is working with the Rangers in Power Rangers or fighting the clone version of himself is literally all American made.
Yeah, by the way, can I just say, you mentioning that the White Ranger's name is what? Abbott Killer?
Abbott Killer, yeah.
And out of all the names they could have came up with for the White Ranger, they came up with Trent. like,
Yeah.
Like, that is such a basic bitch name. Like,
I love that. Abbott Killer, and they came up with Trent.
literally. Like you could have came up with any other name that could have been cooler for him. And they had to go with
Also,
Trent.
another fun fact: the reason why in the morphin sequence, their mouth on their helmets move is because in the Sentai, all the Zords are sentient beings. They're actually alive.
Yeah. Not just dinosaurs that Tommy Oliver accidentally sets on the world. Like,
yeah. Well, actually, in the Sentai, funny enough, it's actually 2 Earths that exist on the same plane of existence, and the humans dub it Earth and then Dino Earth, because on Dino Earth, dinosaurs were never extinct. They actually adapt with us, hence why they look all armored and stuff in the Sentai, hence why they're like more machines now. And they're all alive, they're all sentient, they're literally... That's why their morphers, their mouth opens, because in the Sentai, when the air quote Zords aren't around, when they're hidden because they have to, if they need to talk to their Zords, they'll look at their morpher, and their mouths actually move on their morpher when they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
I actually really like... one of my favorite Sentais is the Dino Thunder Abba Ranger. That's what it's called. I adore Abba Ranger. It's actually one of my inspirations for Power Rangers Future Foundation. If anyone knows the lore behind Future Foundation, you'll understand what I just said about Earth and Dino Earth. It's one of the main reasons why Future Foundation Universe 113 is the way it is. Just saying, just a little note for you guys. But yeah,
check it out in one of the channels that he plays. Oh, whatever, like, you know, promo.
Anyway. One thing I will say, I really want them to do another Dr. Oliver character. Bring back another Ranger from way back when. Make them a mentor. Give them a new Ranger power that fits in with the current team. They haven't done it since Tommy being Dr. O. I really want them to do it again. I really do. I think RJ would be great.
And can I just say right now, the Dino Thunder theme song fucking slaps.
Yeah, it does. It goes hard.
It is probably one of the best Power Rangers theme songs. Like if you hear if you hear anyone singing a Power Rangers theme song, it's gonna be that one. Like, the amount of covers I've seen online of that one specifically is ridiculous. Like, because that one's the easiest one to replicate.
Okay, the next one. I don't think we've spoken about the next one
not as much, but next one.
I wasn't really a fan of Power Rangers SPD growing up. Now, as an adult, I've watched most of, like, you know, a lot of the YouTube videos about it. I've watched all of it.
Yeah, so have I.
Logan's actually watched a couple episodes. I adore SPD now. I think SPD fucking class. But now, your thoughts on SPD?
Now, SPD is pretty decent. It's not the best of all time. There are definitely some points that I want to make about it. First off, could I just say, simply because I just really wish it happened, I really wish the Cat Ranger had some more screen time. I really fucking wish he did. Like, that shit is so cool.
The only reason why she didn't is because the Super Sentai counterpart also only morphs like once or twice.
Yeah, but like the idea, this is the idea of it. I just wish it was just used more of.
Fun fact: in the Sentai, she's not a cat; it's a swan.
Yeah,
she's a Swan Ranger, not a Cat Ranger.
Yeah. I know, but like, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's funny. You see Cat Minx more in the Power Rangers Battle for the Grid game than you see her in the actual fucking show.
Fun fact for you guys, what he just said, she's actually one of my main characters in that game.
Yeah, I can see why, because I actually played that game, and like, yeah, she's pretty fucking good. Actually, now I want to think about which one character do I make?
Again, one of my favorite 6th Ranger origins.
Yeah.
Doggy Kruger, is an amazing character.
Oh,
His storyline is
he's
dark
sick.
as fuck, and his
Yeah.
introduction when he morphs, the bad guys are like, "You have to take down 100 of my foot soldiers," and he's like, bitch, please," and mows through them.
And not to mention, he has a fucking quad bike. Like, hello, like that shit's cool.
Sword. If I could have any weapon from Power Rangers be an adult-sized replica, it's the fucking Shadow Saber, man. That thing is sexy.
So cool,
That is sexy, man.
And also, I really do like the Blue Ranger's arc in that season. Like, he starts off as this like jealous sidekick because he wanted to be the Blue Ranger, the Red Ranger, like his dad was, but he got downgraded to the Blue Ranger because obviously Kruger didn't see him as a leader. And in that one episode,
no, you got that wrong. He did see him as a leader. It's the fact that Sky would have gone for being a leader in the wrong way. Sky had to learn a lesson first.
Oh right, yeah. Like I said, I haven't seen all of SPD. I just know the main bits.
At the end, the Red Ranger goes back to helping people on the streets and stuff. Everyone gets promoted and shit, and he even says, "Now you can be Red Ranger." And Sky's a bit confused and stuff, and he goes, "You had to learn a lesson."
And you learned the lesson because I'm pretty sure, like, didn't they? Isn't it like they did the same? They called back to an earlier episode because I know in like an earlier episode, like he said stuff like Kruger said to the Blue Ranger, if the Pink Ranger was the leader, would you follow her into battle? And then in the first time he's asked that question, the Blue Ranger's like, "Bruh, what do you mean? Girl, like, what are you talking about?"
So
like,
I think that's like the first episode. Yeah, he asked Sky, if the Pink Ranger was in charge, what would you do? And he's like, "Please, she's a girl." And then at the end, he asks her the same question: "If the Pink Ranger was in charge, what would you do?" And you go,
and he's like,
I'd do anything to protect the blah blah."
He says, I'll follow whoever you put in the role, sir. Something like that.
Yeah,
and that's when he's like. That's when he's like, "Well done, you are now the Red Ranger."
Sky was always meant to be the leader. It's just he had to learn a lesson first.
He basically had to have the maturity enough to actually be the Red Ranger, which I liked. I liked that they went down that path, and it's a very slow development. It's not something you notice very much until you see those scenes with Sky, and I like that. I really did like that. I'm not gonna lie, the Yellow Ranger and stuff was kind of eh. Again, this is another situation where the Yellow Ranger's been kind of pushed to the side.
Nah, see, one of the biggest gripes I have, and of course they had to use the Sentai footage. The Sentai had officially 7 Rangers. You've got the main core, the Shadow Ranger, and then what we know as the Omega Ranger, which pisses me off because one, he never demorphs. He's a ball of light for 90% of the time, but yet we see him demorph at the very last scene of the fucking end of the season.
Yeah, like, bruh.
Does my head in.
Yeah. I think I don't know if this is true, but apparently somebody said that apparently like at the beginning of SPD, the Pink Ranger is the most selfish Ranger out of the group.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It's because she's a bit like of a posse princess. You know, she's all about her look. She's a bit like snobby and shit.
So basically just a stereotypical blonde bitch. Like,
yeah, no, legit. Yeah, I don't mean to be harsh, but yes.
Yes. If I offended any of you in watching this video, write so in the comments and send me those death threats. Like,
you, if you're listening to this, go on to YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, you're allowed to comment for exactly the next 60 seconds. You're allowed to say one slur against my brother. I give you full permission.
Yes, and I give you no filter. Go all out. Anyway.
The only word you're not allowed to use is carrot. Go.
Yeah, the word significant that sounds similar to carrot. Anyway, moving on.
No. The actual word carrot. You're not allowed to use carrot. That's the only word you're not allowed to use.
Okay, if you guys type carrot in that fucking comment section,
I will delete it.
we will reply with an angry face.
The angry emoji.
The angry emoji, yes. Anyway, moving onwards. So yeah,
yeah, but Sam was just wasted, man.
I'm gonna be honest. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. Fucking the villains are so forgettable.
Nah, man, Emperor Grunt was class.
To be honest, I didn't focus enough on the villains to really care. To be honest with you, I never focused that much. I only really focus on the Ranger parts.
Okay,
Like-
okay, I will say this. There's two things. You've got Grum, who apparently has like a higher up, which doesn't get really explained to the very end anyway. He's only interesting when the Shadow Rangers are thing because they're history, and the fact that he loses one horn due to Doggy Kruger. At the end of the show, he makes him lose the other horn. I fucking love it. It's such a good scene. But then you've got this girl who is a girl. She's literally a little kid. She can do magic or whatever. I think she draws the bad guys or something. She draws them to life. She then turns into an adult against her wishes. She doesn't like being an adult. She then sees the big bad or something, which scares her. And then Grum allows her to be a kid again because that's like her favorite form. They didn't go in on this enough. It was such an interesting character, really weird, really wacky. If they focused on her more, I think it would have been better.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna say this right now. I am running a bit low on time because I do want to try and get some sleep tonight. So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit, and talk about some of the specific seasons that I want to talk about, and then give the answer of which one is my favorite season of all time and which one's my least favorite.
Well, we don't have to mention Neo Saban because we pretty much covered all of them. I think the only ones we'd have to really realistically mention is Mystic Force and RPM because we spoke about Jungle Fury and I guess we could talk about Operation Overdrive, but I don't think anybody knows what that is.
And if you do know what it is, you probably will know what I'm going to say next about it. But anyway,
go on.
It's my least favorite Power Rangers season.
Yeah, it's a lot of people's.
It's fucking garbage. Without talking, I mean, it's better than Redacted, but we don't talk about Redacted.
The issue is with Operation Overdrive, the center. I actually don't know much about the center. I tell the truth, I'm not even going to try and give you a fun fact because I haven't even bothered. But it's like they try to do Indiana Jones as Power Rangers, which is a good idea. It's a good idea.
Like on paper, it's a good idea. But
I really enjoyed the anniversary episode. I don't know how many people think, but I love the fact they brought back one Ranger from like different seasons and made them a team. That's class. But you have like 4 different villain factors all after the duels. The Rangers also get civilian powers, which is weird. One thing I do like, and I know some people disagree with me, I love the fact the Red Ranger's an android, and you there's no hint about it until it happens, until you find out he's an android. I think that's class.
I mean, actually, when you think about it, like in my opinion, when you learn that fact, if you look back to the other episodes, there are slight hints that he's an android. Given his antics and personality, the way he looks, the way he jolts around, he's like an excitable kid who's been awoken for the first time to this shit. And it's like you kind of think like, you know what? If I could pick out any one of these people in the group who would be an android, I would say him. Like that's the way I see it.
See. Yes, you're correct. But, like you said, you'd have to watch it first, learn that Mac is an android, and then pick it up.
Yeah, like if you obviously if you were not told he's an android, I would 100% be like, yeah, he's just a normal guy. Like he's just a bit of a quirky guy. Like that's about it. Like, but we've seen a lot of those characters already in previous seasons, so it's like, okay.
I think the issue with Operation Overdrive, there's no major character arcs. They give up way too easy. They give up so fucking easy. You know, they lose their powers, they all fuck off. I'm like, okay. You have a godlike being who turns up and gives Mac his battleizer. His battleizer is actually based off of him. Then somehow Alpha's able to fix the morphing grid, which I'm confused at. Which is also visualized to you by a tunnel of energy.
Okay, there's one thing that I want to talk about here that I feel like people don't really talk about enough about what they did in Operation Overdrive. The way they handled Adam coming back. There's one specific thing about it that really confuses me, and I don't know why they did it. They gave him an updated morphing scene with his mighty morphin powers.
Nah, see, that's not the thing that's confusing. The thing that's confusing is, why has he got the Mastodon powers?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the last time we saw him with that, it was very, very, very buggy in space. Like, it was a
no, because they could have fixed it. They could have fixed that. What I'm talking about is, why not just give him the ninja powers?
Yeah.
That's the last Mighty Morphin power he had. So...
Yeah, exactly. Or better yet, like, he could have easily went back and got his Zeo powers, because, let's be honest, they still exist. They're still there, people. That's the one thing that pisses me off. They all act like the Zeo crystals just don't exist. Like, after Turbo. Like, that really grinds my gears so bad.
My podcasting buddies, Billy and Jim, have an ongoing joke that if something doesn't make sense in Power Rangers, just blame the Zeo powers. They literally, I've had conversations with Billy and Jim, and we've all just gone, Zeo powers. Okay, one thing I will say, one of the reasons why I really do adore the anniversary episode, we see Bridge again, who was SPD Green.
Yeah.
But he's now SPD Red, and he also mentions that his commander is Sky.
Right.
So Sky went from blue to red to commander, which means he took over Dr. Kruger's role, and Bridge went from green, possibly blue, that wasn't mentioned, to red.
Yeah.
And
I understand it when you said it. When Bridge tried to explain it, it was very fucking stuttery, and I did not understand a word of it, because Bridge is Bridge. Like...
Okay, so we'll end it in a minute. Quickly, let's just run through RPM. That's the one season we haven't mentioned.
RPM, probably one of the darkest seasons in Power Rangers history. Like,
well, if you think about it, right, Power Rangers was going to be officially cancelled twice. There was hints and stuff about it being cancelled, but it was going to be have the last season. Then that's the better way to word it. It was going to have its last season twice. Both times. Both seasons did, one, something really dark that's never done before, but two, also gave us fantastic seasons. The first time was in space. The season they killed off Zordon. The second
was going
season
to be the final season of Power Rangers until they brought it back with
Then the second season was RPM. The season where the Earth is fucked. It's an apocalypse.
The only thing that's left is the small town.
Yes, well, it's a city, but yeah.
A small city, yeah.
Corinth,
yeah. Which plays a bigger... and the one thing I love, especially in hindsight, is I love how much RPM plays into the story of this whole thing. Like, it plays such a huge role in stuff like that. And, okay, we'll just stick to the season RPM, not what happens after RPM. For now, we can... Hey, if you ever bring me back on for a third time, we can always discuss more shit like that. But anyway, hey, if you want me back on again, leave me in the comments down below. Basically, I do like the cast of RPM. I like how the Green Ranger's such a fucking nerd. He's so like...
No. One of my favorite things about the Green Ranger is, one, he actually only realistically joins the team because the Black Ranger goes, right, I'll join you, but only on one condition, and that's that Ziggy joins in. But the very first time he morphs and he's swinging around his axe, he has no idea what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, so he's just like, okay, this is happening. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, okay. Like he's just like, he's just riding the wave as it goes. Like, I mean, actually, that kind of makes sense because his thing's a shark.
I'm going to give you a character description of a character. Okay, in all of
Okay.
Power Rangers, this could be about anyone in Power Rangers, right? I'm going to give you a
Okay.
character description. Okay, you have a mysterious character. Okay, he's a male. He's mysterious. He's a bit broody. He's a bit, what's the word? A miserable sod. He's got a missing sister. The missing sister is actually the bad guy. She works for the villain. This mysterious woman who's actually, the sister, but is now a mysterious villain, is kind of hot. She wears kind of tight clothes. Her hairstyle changes quite often. But also, when the villain kind of like maybe might turn good, the main bad guy kind of like brainwashes them more, and they have some some marking on their face. They do eventually become good and do help the Ranger team. They do not become a Power Ranger in the same season. Yeah.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
I have just explained Andros and Dylan.
Yeah.
It
Like,
literally,
they are both
Dylan.
the same. They're both the same.
Dylan literally had the same story.
Except the difference is Dylan looks the part. Andros just doesn't. Like, he looks like a brooding little piece of shit. Like, he looks like an edgy motherfucker, whereas Andros just looks like a cool guy. Like, he's a cool dude.
One of my favorite things of RPM is I love the fact that you've got Dr. K, and she's it's almost like she thought of this as a military type thing, because she doesn't call them the Black Ranger, the Green Ranger. No, they're operator number. So Dylan is operation number 5. The Red Ranger's operation number 1, and she calls them that. She doesn't actually call them by their names until well into her character growth. Which I just found absolutely fucking phenomenal. But yeah, RPM is a great season. I love.
We cannot talk about RPM without mentioning the iconic meme that came with it. Like, I'm Scottish.
To be fair, though, right, that is an amazing scene. She's like, okay, red's the leader, green's the funny one, yellow's the girl. What does that make you?
Black's the dark and brooding one, so what's that make you? He just yeets her and just goes, oh, I'm Scottish! Like, this is brilliant. I love that shit.
Not to mention, the Rangers each have their own abilities that they can use, which they don't really use that often, sadly, but also Dylan's a cyborg.
Oh. Right.
Yep. He's actually a cyborg. He actually
I didn't watch all of RPM, so I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, he was infused with electrical components during a test. He is like a test subject, and that's one of the reasons why he isn't affected by the Ventrix virus. So just a fun fact for you. But yeah, RPM is great. The really funny thing is as well, In Space is a season that saved Power Rangers, and its Super Sentai counterpart is based off video games. Literally, that's why when they morph, they have weird digital something or other in their helmets. Is because each one gets their powers from a different form of technology. And hence why their suit all have squares of all 5 colors. And RPM is a joke season. Super Sentai, the RPM Super Sentai adaptation is a joke season. It's literally made to mock Super Sentai, and it was turned into RPM.
Yeah, it's funny how it went from the biggest joke to the biggest series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been doing this for almost 2 hours and a half.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get pretty exhausted, so...
Yeah, well, you can come on again. I'm looking for guests for January, so I'll mostly have you come on again in the new year. More than likely, I kind of want to talk to you about, Infamous or, PS3 games or something. Something gaming related. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I feel like we have definitely spoken Power Rangers a lot in these last, few days. It'd be cool to branch off the different franchises.
Yeah. Show everyone what else we can geek about,
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you, bro, for coming on again. It's been a blast.
Of course.
me and Freddy have actually been hanging out for a good couple hours now. So if you want to see us play Texas Chainsaw Massacre, make sure you check out the Tiger Online channel. I'm brand new to the game. He kind of had to walk me through it.
Spoiler alert, we did awful.
But it was funny, though. We had fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you check that out. But yeah, of course, if you're listening to us on Spotify or any of the podcast platforms, make sure you give us a follow or a rating or however that works. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, of course. We gave you the rules for the comment section. It's there. You know, but bully Freddy, man. You had your minute. And yeah, of course, Freddy will return. So that is your warning or your promise, one of the two. That's up to you guys. Don't forget to show Freddy some love, and Roar of Passion.
Show love to my show love to my channel that is dead. You know.
Don't get Roar of Passion, everybody. I love you all, and I shall see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zio to Hero, the podcast.